What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and guys, you're going to see this at midnight on Tuesday because I didn't go into the office on Monday, which means I have to go on Tuesday. And the reason why I didn't go in, guys, is because, hey, I went to the Steelers game. I was at the game, as you can see the background here. That is a picture that I took while I was at the Steelers Bengals game, and man, what a game it was, guys. And I decided the way I'm going to do this particular video, guys, we're going to do this one, strictly off the top of the head, man. I'm not even going to, look at any notations. I'm just going to go off of memory, just trying to feed off of the emotion that I had while at the game. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Now, first and foremost, what a great win. What a great win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, did we need that? We definitely needed that, because it was an AFC North opponent. Not only that, it was an opportunity for the Steelers, to basically get some separation in the division. Now sitting at 5-2, ironically, of course, the Bengals lose because we played the Bengals, but then also the Ravens lose as well to Minnesota, making them, I believe, 3-4. Crazy, man. The Steelers right now control their own destiny, definitely in the division. But also, here's another thing. For a brief moment, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the #1 team in the AFC just due to tiebreakers and such. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs beat New England. So there's a tiebreaker right there. Steelers right now actually can control their own fate. Imagine if they get on this ridiculous win streak and just, win out or what have you. Would be crazy, right? But, of course, that's not anything that I'm thinking that's going to happen. I'm just saying for a brief moment, we can all say, wow, after 7 games, our Pittsburgh Steelers are currently the top seed in the AFC. Now, let's get to the game. Now, first and foremost, guys, of course, it was some great things that happened in the game. Defense played great. We understand that. Offense seemed to get back on track early on. But we got to talk about the negatives. We definitely have to talk about the negatives. And like I said, guys, since I'm doing this off of the top of the head, I may forget some of the things, I didn't take notes purposely because I was there live. So it's a different scene, when you're doing it live. Than me being at home, being able to, pause and put in notes, what have you. You're so hyped and so full of emotion when you're at the game. I didn't want to be the analytics guy or the analyst, I guess you would say. So I decided I'm just going to go off of memory. Here's the first problem that the offense is definitely still having. Red zone efficiency. We're 1 for 6. 1 for 6 in the red zone. And not to mention the one that we scored on with Antonio Brown, it looked like Marquise Pouncey hiked the ball a little early, almost looked like the play was dead. And Antonio Brown, gets inside of the corner, absolutely. Ben makes a great throw, low on a slant. He throws it low and to a point where only Antonio could get it. Didn't give the corner enough time to react and also threw it away from the safety. Great throw. All right? Great throw, but it looked like the play slowed down for a minute. Like I said, I believe Marquise Pouncey hiked it a bit early, and, there you have it. Maybe they were caught off guard. But like I said, the cornerback did seem to be playing Antonio Brown the way he was supposed to. So you got to give him credit there for beating the guy inside. And you got to give Ben credit for the throw. But that was the only one. The rest of the time, they were 1 for 6 in terms of getting touchdowns in the red zone. That's not going to cut it. Now, you would look at the score and you would say, hey, they scored 29 points, very close to 30 points, right? But we can't have games, in my opinion. I'm not comfortable with games where it's 5 field goals. I'm just not. I'd rather, if we're going to have some field goals, I'm cool with 3 touchdowns. Let's say the offense can produce 3 touchdowns. That's 21. Maybe we get 2 more field goals. That's a 27-point game right there. And I feel like the way the defense is playing, if you can hold your opponent to 25 points or less and your offense produces 27, that's a winning formula in the NFL. You understand what I'm saying? Because, people think we're supposed to score touchdowns every time. And that's just not going to happen. You have to give credit to your opponent. But we need to flip this number. Instead of 2 touchdowns and 5 field goals, it absolutely need to be a minimum of 3 touchdowns and maybe 2 field goals. 2 to 3. I like that ratio better. Score 7 when you can score 7 because it changes the whole narrative. It changes the mentality of your opponent. etc., etc. You keep kicking field goals, your opponent is going to think they still have an opportunity, which the Cincinnati Bengals did. Now, let's talk about another thing. Third down conversions. Same thing I talked about for the Kansas City Chiefs game, right? We're still struggling with third downs. 2 for 11 on third down. And I'm talking third and shorts. 3rd and 1. You know what I mean? One time it was like this much. And they handed off to Watson and we unable to get it. We got to clean that up, man. We have to clean that up. You know, 3rd and 1 is a very, very advantageous position that you want to be in as an offense. And we can't pick up 3rd and 1, 3rd and short with this offense. Now, here's the other problem. Todd Haley and the conservative play calling on 3rd down. You know, we're either running it right up the gut, which everybody knows is coming, or this is another thing. When we take a shot downfield, it's one receiver. Now, it is Antonio Brown. You get him matched up one-on-one. You like those odds. But at the same time, why not mixing in like a play action in the running back or say the tight end leaks out? What about those plays? Give me at least 2 options. Give me a deep and one underneath in case Ben has to check it down. Or what about this? Now, I know Ben doesn't do it that much. What about bootleg? You know, I mean, can we do something different and stop doing the obvious when other teams know how we're going to play? Can we throw a wrinkle at them? I even said this. Now, I know this is wishful thinking, but imagine if we brought in Josh Dobbs, right? And the play is a bootleg. That's going to throw the defense completely off because if they see Dobbs come in, they're going to be like, wait a minute, I know the Steelers are probably just going to hand that off, but they have to watch Dobbs. And then if he gets the right look, you know, do the bootleg. 4 yard, he's probably going to get that. He has enough athleticism, enough speed to get to the corner. I mean, just do something different. We're going to have to turn these 3rd downs into conversions. Because as we get deeper and deeper into the season and we start playing other teams that can really, you know, that can score, that's going to really challenge the defense, we're going to have to outduel people, and we have the talent to do it, so there's no excuse. Those are my biggest gripes from Sunday's game. Everything else, guys, I think defense played outstanding. Outstanding. You know, we gave up 1 run, and again, it's the NFL. It's going to happen. You know, Mixon made a nice cutback lane was there. He did the rest. Can't be mad at that. I think he was like 7 for 48. Had a good day. Why the Cincinnati Bengals didn't go back to him, I have no idea. But they finished the day at, what, 71 yards? That's a good outing for your defense against the run, especially since, you know, considering what we've been giving up on the run. Defense played outstanding. Pass defense, outstanding. Rush defense, outstanding as far as pass rush, I should say. Outstanding in the second half. We completely shut them out. Now, I didn't like, you know, seeing the Cincinnati Bengals drive down the field and matching out touchdowns. I didn't like those situations. It was looking like it was about to be a shootout because, you know, every time the Steelers easily go down the field, here come the Bengals right back. And I didn't like that. When it went to 14-14, I got a little nervous, like, okay, this might be a duel. Is Roethlisberger going to be able to put up more points than Andy Dalton? You know, and then we get the field goal before the half. And let's talk about that real quick before we move back to the defense. What in the world was going on with that play with 12 seconds left? Obviously, there was some miscommunication or misagreement. Because if you listen to Ben Roethlisberger's, you know, his post game, he said he was upset because he said that they had a pass play called. I think the Bengals called the timeout. 12 seconds left. They had a pass play call, and then I think that, you know, obviously Todd Haley or Tomlin or whoever else, you know, because, you know, Ben mentioned both of those guys. They decided, let's run the ball. They had a look, I guess. They decided they wanted to run against it. Listen, sometimes when they think you're going to pass, run, I get that. But in terms of clock management, I feel like we did have a timeout, but with 12 seconds, man, you got at least 2 shots in the end zone. At least. That was second down. I wouldn't have audible, you know, or changed the play to be a run play. I wouldn't have done that. Just my opinion. And that's one thing you have to look at coaching. Like I said, coaches are not perfect. But y'all know I like to always say I don't like to dump everything on the coaches. That one right there, that was a coaching thing that you could probably look at and say, okay, I don't know what y'all guys was thinking. Again, if they thought they had a look and they could run the ball, cool. I just think with 12 seconds, just like Roethlisberger said, let's take a shot at the end zone at least twice. and we still got a timeout, in the bank. Maybe they thought maybe we run the ball and, if they get stopped quick enough, you call the timeout, you still have another shot. I don't know. Maybe if the clock gets down to 7 seconds, you still have a shot at the end zone. But then they just let it tick down to 3 seconds. So it's like, yeah, take the points, but I think that was bad clock management right there. And, it was good to hear Ben Roethlisberger say, I didn't agree with the call at the time. I wanted to pass it. But, hey, we call the plays that are called. So, okay, I get it. So I got to, put a little asterisk beside that one, raising an eyebrow at Todd Haley. And then, obviously, you got to look at Tomlin as well in that situation and say, I guess you guys okayed it together. That may have been able to have been handled a little differently. That's a coaching thing that I can look at. Outside of that, I don't think I can talk about anything else that was necessarily negative about the performance. Again, red zone efficiency wasn't there. We got to turn those field goals into touchdowns, and we have to convert third downs. That's the last piece, man. If the Steelers can get that going consistently, the way the defense is playing, the sky is the limit. What did I say? I know my team after 6 to 7 weeks, after 7 games, I see the Steelers have the potential to be a force in the AFC. They're actually looking like a possible championship team. Not quite yet, because everything still is not clicking the way it should be. It's not a well-oiled machine yet. But it looks like they could grow into that. Traditionally, Tomlin's teams get better in the second half. We'll see. It makes me very optimistic if they can peak, from what they're doing now. The Steelers got a chance. We'll see. All right, now we got to talk about the fake punt. Wow. Now we want to talk about coaching. What a call. Obviously, they're talking about that Robert Golden, may or may not have called that himself. I would have reason to believe that they put it in. I would have reason to believe that Danny Smith said if you get the look, take it, and Mike Tomlin was cool with it. Because if you notice, there's a shot of Tomlin where, he's smiling and shaking his head and he winks, at a couple of the guys. So I got to give Tomlin and the boys credit on that one. So they mishandled the situation earlier, but I give them credit for taking the shot and having guts. However, I will say that was a crazy time to run a punt, fake, because at that time we were only up by 12. It was like 4th and 7. At that point of the field, man, if the Bengals stop us, you're putting them right back in prime position. So you got to question the timing of that. But when it works, you got to applaud the gutsiness for doing it. So I applaud them, but I still look at them like, may not have been the best time, but hey, that's why the coaches make the big bucks. So now let's get back to the defense real quick, guys, and then we can put a bow on this one. What a performance by the front 7 and the back end. Just absolutely domination, man. Just total domination in the second half. Tyson Alualu had a monster game. Javon Hargrave did his thing again, man. Javon Hargrave is very similar to Casey Hampton in this respect. A lot of real Steeler fans and guys that really know the game of football knew what type of force Casey Hampton was. He may not have always had the big numbers and this and that, but you knew how much of a force he was because he clogged up the middle and allowed other guys to get that work. That's the same thing that Hargrave does. However, Hargrave is also, a beast where he can get off of his block. He's getting sacks at times, so he's like a dual threat. He did his thing. Cam Hayward did his thing. T.J. Watt showed up and got a huge sack, did his thing. Bud Dupree showed up, huge sack, and he probably should get a sack and a half for the one that he basically set up Alualu because he was there first. Andy Dalton able to, slightly slip him, and here's Alualu right there, or Alu. I'm not sure which way to pronounce his name, and so I want to hear it from somebody who really knows how to pronounce it. So I'm going to call him Alu and Alualu. But what a game these guys had, man. These dudes did their thing. Ryan Shazier looking like Ryan Shazier. Let me tell you something. Seeing it in person, I've seen Ryan Shazier a couple times now in person. But to see that speed play out, man, it's the way this dude plays sideline to sideline is absolutely ridiculous. It was a screenplay, I want to say in the third quarter, where, most linebackers are not going to get there. And he was able to get there and shut it down so fast. it was just a beautiful thing to see, man. Joe Hayden with a headsy play. You know, Andy Dalton leads A.J. Green out a little too much. Green tips it. You know, it basically bounces off of his back, and Joe Hayden is able to secure it and flip over Green, secure the ball. That was crazy. Then you got to give credit to Sean Davis. How Sean Davis, you know, broke on that pass to the tight end. Almost got the pick himself. Pops it up, and there's big play Willie Gay to get the deflection. And both happened in the third quarter. You know, stuff like that kills your opponent, man. It absolutely destroys your opponent when you get turnovers like that in the same quarter. That changes the tide and the momentum. But here's the negative part. Steelers didn't really do much with those turnovers. Here comes those third down conversions again. See what I'm saying? See, these are the moments. These are when you can put the fork in your opponent and you're not taking advantage. So we got to improve there. Let me see. What else do I remember from that game? Oh, the being stiff-armed by Le'Veon Bell. Good God almighty. Wow. Dre Kirkpatrick, man, I feel bad for him. Le'Veon just caught him in the best position and pushed him to the ground. Beautiful thing to see. Juju Smith-Schuster, man, improving. Definitely improving. Improving. He was wide open on that one play. But, he kept working. You saw that, there was a defender there for a moment. He worked to get past him. The defender went the other way. He kept upfield. Ben finds him. Perfect throw. Wide open. And it looks very similar. And shout outs to SteelersDepot.com, because I said this to my father-in-law at the game. I said, that reminded me of that play that they threw to Haywood Bay last year when the Chiefs were at Heinz Field. And then I hear, today, listening to the Terrible Podcast, they said the same thing. That, Alex Kazur, I believe, posted it up on SteelersDepot.com saying it was the same play. And it's crazy. When you know your team, man, you start recognizing things. And I would like to say, I probably noticed it, shout outs to Alex. I appreciate him. He's commented some good things to me on Twitter. But I noticed it on site. So I may have beat you to it, Alex. But yeah, just a good thing to see. And that celebration. That celebration was classic. And I'm not saying that as a biased Steelers fan. That was classic. It was crazy because Le'Veon Bell said he planned it like 10 minutes before the game. He told him, if either one of us score, we're going to play hide and seek. That was crazy. I love to see these guys having fun. I love that the league is allowing these guys to celebrate again. And as we're speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, I'd have to give a shout out to, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, as he may go by. Or I believe he's back to Chad Johnson. I used to love even watching Cincinnati because I knew Chad was going to give you something. And T.O., so it's great to see that the league is opening it back up to allowing guys to celebrate, in a tasteful fashion. I love it. What else, guys? I got anything else to talk about? Steelers put up, what was it, 4 sacks? I think it was 4 sacks. I may be off there, but it might have been more than that. But I know we did a great job, man, because at one time it started looking like a sack party out there. But beautiful thing to see, man. The defense is coming together. Oh, I got to give some credit to Joe Hayden and Artie Burns putting the clamps on A.J. Green. 3 catches for 41 yards. He was getting a few catches early on. One of those catches he got early on, Artie Burns almost had an interception. It just went over his head. Those guys was playing phenomenal, man. And I like, the idea of not switching. They allowed both corners to get that work. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. I love to see that the Steelers. Can you believe this, guys? The Steelers have 2, solid cornerbacks. Artie Burns is still up and coming. Joe Hayden may be on the latter end of his career, but still a solid corner. When is the last time we had 2 cornerbacks that we felt relatively confident about? That's crazy. When is the last time that we could be able to say at some point of the season the Steelers were number 1 against the pass? Crazy. That's what I'm saying, man. This year seems like it could be a special year. We don't know how special, but if the offense can just iron out some of the kinks, this could be a super, super explosive team, man. And as a Steelers fan, it's very good to see. Very good to see this talent coming together and the draft pick seeming to come together. I'm loving it. Really, really loving it. Last thing, man. Let's talk about Martavis Bryant. Listen, the reports come out, and then other reports come out saying it, his account was hacked and blah, blah, blah. Let me just tell you what I believe real quick, and I'll leave it at this. I believe that he is very frustrated. I do. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of truth to what we're hearing. You're not always hacked. And I will say this, man, stop having soft skin and stop allowing fans to suck you in to say something crazy if you really did that. Number two, if you are unhappy, I get it. We understand you're frustrated, man. You've been out of football for a year. You want to get back and show your hard work. You put on some weight, some muscle, still fast. We get it. But at the same time, it's a team sport, my man. That's the price you pay when you have so much talent on the offense. Obviously, it's very obvious to me right now that this offense is going to run through Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. But Le'Veon Bell seems to be the catalyst right now. It just is. So you got to, take advantage of your opportunity. You're probably the third option. And then mixing Juju in there, Juju is in a position when he's in the slot or even on the outside, he may be getting more opportunity. I can't necessarily say that Martavis Bryant is a great route runner. You understand what I'm saying? So when he's in the game, his routes may be very basic and it's easier to cover. You understand what I'm saying? Not saying he's coverable. I'm just saying it may be easier to scheme around that. And then when we throw the deep ball to you, like in this game, what was that? How does he not locate the ball in that situation? That was very crazy. I don't know. Listen, I wasn't on the field. I'm not going to criticize a professional athlete. I'm not. But what was he doing there? Clearly he's looking back at Ben Roethlisberger. He knows the ball is thrown, and then he doesn't locate it in the air. He probably had an opportunity to make a catch there. And that's either a touchdown or a huge gain, putting us in the red zone. You see what I'm saying? They open up the game with a end around, like a pitch to him. I'm just saying, they're trying to work you in, but you're going to have to make the best out of your opportunities because it's only one ball. And Ben Roethlisberger for the last couple of weeks is not throwing it that much. And within the amount of times that he's throwing it, he's mixing it up, sharing the wealth. So you got to take advantage of yours when your opportunity comes, man. It's just that simple. And, what's going to end up happening is he's probably not going to get traded. Worst come to worst, if he, appears to be a cancer, the Steelers will probably make him an active scratch. He'll be inactive. A healthy scratch. He'll be a healthy scratch, inactive on game day, and they move on. Because they're winning right now without him. Those are just the facts. So that's all I got, man. Again, great performance by the defense. The guys look like they're really, really coming around. Offensively, great start. But we have to convert third downs, and we have to be better in the red zone. Come on, Todd Haley. We need some better plays, man. Just pounding it in the middle or just throwing it to one deep shot, that's not enough. Let's mix it up. Let's catch them off guard. Do something different. We got to do something better, man. Those two areas is holding the offense back because Ben Roethlisberger actually looked relatively good Sunday. It was probably one of the better games he's had this season. He was accurate for the most part. A couple throws may have been here or there. But come on, every quarterback is going to be hit or miss on some throws. They all go through it. But he looked very Ben-ish, Ben-like on Sunday without throwing the ball a huge amount of time. So let's get it together. So here we are. We got to go into Detroit, man. And, y'all know I'm going to keep this routine going on Friday. I will do my pregame, my keys to victory on that game. I'm sure that the Lions will be, they're ready to play. They've had a bye. So, the Steelers need to go in there and see if they can steal that win as well and cruise into the bye 6-2. That'd be great. But, even if they didn't, this win against the Bengals was huge. The Ravens losing was huge. Because now, even if the Steelers go and, mess around and lose against the Lions, that's a game that technically you can drop and it's not going to hurt anything in terms of the standings. You'll still be a game and a half above the Ravens. You're still above Cincinnati. And, of course, Browns ain't even in the picture. So they put themselves in a comfortable position, but they can make it even better, if they go ahead and get it done in Detroit. And that's about all I got, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, man, couldn't do this one live. By the time you see this, I'll probably be asleep. I'm going to release it at midnight. But yeah, it'll be Tuesday. So hope you guys enjoy, man. And don't forget to leave your comments, guys. If you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, you love the Steelers, and you love what I do here on Turbo Towel Tuesday, do yourself a favor and subscribe. If you're here for gaming, you guys know I do the gaming thing. Go ahead and subscribe for that as well. But last but not least, man, don't forget to hit that like button and let me know what you think. All right, so that's going to do it, guys. I'll catch you on Friday with the keys to victory, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. All right, here we go, Steelers. Peace.